Hello everybody, this is Stephen Elson. This is Full Time Devils and this is our Anderlecht preview today. I'm delighted to be joined by Rantcast Paul and I'm not as delighted to be joined by Adam McCullough. What's happening everybody? How are you doing? I've just lost audio. How inconvenient. Anyway, while I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the audio, I'm just going to plow on ahead because I don't know if you can hear him. If I can't hear him, I don't know if you can hear him. So the first thing that we need to talk about today, and while I'm waiting for this audio to get sorted, I'm just going to give you my opinion. How does that sound? Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford, we saw at weekend, produce one of the absolute best performances that we've seen from a Manchester United teenager in such a long time. Now, Adam, I can hear you now, so I'm going to come to you. What was that all about on Sunday with Marcus Rashford's performance?
I think he'd watched our vlog from the Anderlecht game because he was obviously up for he was up for it on Sunday. On a serious note, Sunday was perfect. The perfect performance, not just from Marcus Rashford, because I think Marcus Rashford will always give you that work rate. He will always give you that running down the lines. He will always give you that harrying defenders and everything. But the rest of the team's got to perform as well. And I think Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford, Herrera, and then Bailey, Rojo, even Fellaini, Pogba, everybody did their job that day. Before the game, I was looking at the team, and I doubted that team. I was thinking, what's going on? Where's Henrik Mkhitaryan was the main one for me. Where's Henrik Mkhitaryan? Where's Marshall? Where's Zlatan? We all had these questions, but then the team had the plan, stuck to the plan, and the result came. And like Jose Mourinho said, we saw signs of that in the Stamford Bridge game. In the cup when Herrera was sent off, that we could tactically do a job against this side.
We're not talking about the tactics. I want to talk about Marcus Rashford. Do you think a performance like this? Well, you're going around the houses, Adam. Just get to the point.
I'm coming to that now. What that gave then was Marcus Rashford the foundation to perform, and he did just that. He was worrying one of the best defenses it's the best defense in England and one of the best defenses about. He was giving them all sorts of problems. Now the problem you have when you play a back three is you're going to have spaces down the flanks, and Marcus Rashford exposed them so well. He was free all the time. He was onside all the time as well. Because for a young striker, you'd think he's going to get caught offside a few times. He's going to get overexcited and maybe run ahead of the ball. And he wasn't. He was perfect with everything. He got a goal as well, which improved his performance because he rushed one just before that, and he got better as the game went on, man. What a player he is! Golden boy. Marcus Rashford.
Paul, do you think people are going to start clamouring for him to be started on a more regular basis as that main focal point now?
I mean, they kind of have been, haven't they, all season, really? There's been the question of Ibrahimovic's presence, and obviously that brings this huge benefit, but it's always been, okay, well, Rashford's not going to get minutes at centre-forward. And what's really pleasing is, there was that little spell when Zlatan was out and Rashford played quite a lot of centre-forward and didn't really do the business because United were not in good fettle, but as Adam said, like the tactics built a platform for Rashford. That and the partnership playing in the front two against that back three, because you say they're one of the best defence. I mean, there's other teams. I think we've conceded fewer goals than them this season. I'm sure Spurs have. There are vulnerabilities in that Chelsea back three, but I mean, I guess the clamour will increase. We'll see. To me, that looks like a performance that should tell the manager, do you know what? You really don't need to invest big money in someone that you're planning to play at number 9 because you have got a kid there who more often than not will do the business. The problem is we are talking about Jose Mourinho, who time after time after time in his career has looked for the finished product rather than, because Rashford's going to have rough spells before he, I mean, like even fully grown, fully fledged strikers have rough patches, but younger players are more prone to that, and that is going to happen again.
But I was happy with what Jose said in his press conference about how not only him getting the goal, but he felt this season had been a massive season for him in terms of his education tactically and doing what he had wanted. And I kind of see Jose Mourinho getting a little bit more faith in him. I know what you said. I have the same worries as well that he's just going to go out by one. But we've got a feeling he's going to buy one. But I feel if that one is Griezmann, then that's not too much of a problem because that's more of a Wayne Rooney replacement. But if he does go out and buy a second and it's like a Lukaku or something, then it's a worry. But I'd rather see Rashford given a chance.
Do you honestly think that Rashford's
say.
ready to play again? Because I think he's excellent and a brilliant option against teams that have that high line because he can get in behind them. That is one of his best assets, putting pressure on that defence and then capitalising on mistakes and getting in behind with through balls and long balls into the channels. But when it's a team that's coming to Old Trafford like a Burnley or a Stoke and they're just going to put every man behind the ball and go deal with that, do you think Marcus Rashford's got the link-up play? Do you think he's got the hold-up play to be able to play that as a lead striker on his own? I think I can see it in a partnership. Yeah. Do you honestly see that on his own, though? Because I don't.
I do, because I think one of the things that he's really good at, and we saw this in the early part of his career, is finding space in crowded penalty areas. Like if you look at, he scored against Midtjylland, who came to sit super deep, and those goals were proper centre-forward goals, finding his way onto the end of passes in the box. We saw it against Hull earlier this season when they were kind of sat rigid and deep for all that length of time, and it was Rashford
but he wasn't
who
the lone centre-forward, and it was against Midtjylland, but it wasn't against Hull.
That was really late in the game when we just had tons of strikers on, wasn't it? No, I mean, but then even against Chelsea on Sunday, the game against Chelsea on Sunday when he was a lone striker, and really a lonely lone striker, there basically weren't any other attacking players on the pitch at all by that point. He got the ball, beat four men, and had a shot on target. So I think it's going to be difficult for any striker to come in and play a line-leading role. I mean, we've seen Ibrahimovic really struggle in games and there's no one in the world with better hold-up play than Ibrahimovic. So I think Rashford's upside, assuming the right team's built around him, I think absolutely he can do that.
Adam?
I agree. I think he can do it. I think obviously he's still going to grow as well, physically. He'll get bigger. But I don't think he needs to get majorly. I think he handles himself pretty well. We've seen him, again, that's a tough back three that Chelsea had out there. And he was throwing himself about, getting stuck in. And he wasn't scared. He doesn't get scared of anybody. Of course, the physical side. If you're going to be expecting him to with his back to goal and all that stuff to chest, then he's not that guy. But we shouldn't be playing that football anyway. So for me, Marcus Rashford can do it at Manchester United. It's just going to take more maturing, more growing, more experience, and he's learning every single time.
I agree on that. I agree that he can do it, but can he do it next season? Big goals.
Yeah. He needs the time. He needs the minutes. And like Jose said, he's the fourth most played player. Is that right? He's the fourth most. And look at some of his goals have come against like City,
well, that's
Chelsea,
the thing.
Arsenal.
He is good against those big teams, but it's the smaller teams I have my worries about him against. It's those teams where there's no space whatsoever.
The other thing, though, is we're not talking about a season where he's the only attacking option. If we don't, say we buy Griezmann, and also potentially Ibrahimovic is going to still be around next season. So, what you'd like to see is a kind of more measured sharing of the duty. But then there's also Anthony Martial, who is clearly an option at centre forward. Mourinho hasn't taken that option at all, but we've seen that Martial can do the business at centre forward. So it just seems to me that the out and out number 9 is just not a position we need to strengthen.
Some of you guys in the comments here, Hushy Love says, yeah, because Zlatan did brilliantly against Burnley and Stoke. Howson, get your shit together, bro. He still created chances and he still managed to pull things out of nowhere. He didn't finish the chances that he had, but there was a lot of chances that he created and he got on the end of. That's what I don't think. I think, obviously I love Marcus Rashford. I just don't think he's quite ready for it all yet. I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
Rashford played in some of those games up front, and it would have provided
You can't throw a hypothetical at me as proof, Adam.
No, but you're asking me like, okay, can he do it at number 9 for United next season? He can. He's not going to be playing 70 games up top. Are you telling me, can he start 30 or 40 games?
That's what I'm asking you. Can he be our lead striker if Zlatan goes? And that as the number 9, that means he's going to start all the games. That's what I'm asking you.
You still have to improve in other areas. And we have to improve on Wayne Rooney's going to go. We'll replace him. Martial should be adding another 5-10 goals to his game. You'd hope Rashford would be on around 15 to 20 goals this time next season. So you're hoping everybody in the team adds an extra amount of goals to their game, and Marcus Rashford gets more starts up top. I believe if Marcus Rashford had got more starts this season up top in the number 9, he would have got more goals and he would have been a better option for Zlatan in some games. We've been saying it. We play Zlatan too much. Why haven't we been playing someone else?
I think there's a partnership thing that needs to be played. We've seen how good he was with Jesse Lingard this weekend. He needs that person in and around him, and he feeds off movement. That's why I don't think he can do it on his own as a single number 9.
That's why you have someone like Griezmann in your team, or Mkhitaryan, or Lingard to create those spaces and those. It may not be as a number as a 2 up top, but I don't think it was a 2 up top at the weekend. I think Lingard was playing more as a number 10, and he was even dropping deeper as well. So I think Sunday was maybe proof that he can do it.
The sample size is too small as well. We don't know what Rashford's like really leading the line in 4-2-3-1, especially not a 4-2-3-1.
I've seen him in the academy in 4-2-3-1. And he goes through one-on-one quite a lot. And he was the thing that I wrote about him 18 months ago was that he had no composure. He was getting through one-on-one and he was skying loads of chances. That's massively improved on. No, he's massively improved on that. Look at some of the goals he scored. They've been ultimately composed. The one on Sunday was ultimately composed. He has changed that in his game. But there's still lots of areas I think he's got to work on. I mean, I would love nothing more than Marcus Rashford to go and smash Wayne Rooney's record out of the park and put 300 goals on the board. A local Manchester-born and bred lad with the record at Old Trafford. That would be nothing but my dream. But I just don't quite think he's ready there yet.
Even Wayne Rooney at this age, you would have thought, I don't think he could. He couldn't lead the line for Manchester United at that age either, as the main man.
And that's all I'm saying. I think you've got to look at a partnership more than just saying,
right.
Yeah, number 9.
You need to give him.
I think to kind of give your point a bit of credence, Steve. I think the one thing that you would say is if we go into next season and Ibrahimovic leaves and Rashford is our kind of main striker, we'll definitely have to play a system that is less devoted to getting goals out of the main striker. Yeah. You wouldn't expect Rashford to replace Ibrahimovic goal for goal. But then there's this kind of fundamental philosophical question which I think is worthy of attention. Honestly, it's not a question that I have an answer to, but it's something that I think is worth thinking about. If we say one of the reasons that Man United really is a special club is because we put time and effort into bringing our young players through, you have to gamble. Bringing young players through is never a smooth, easy process. There's always an aspect of rolling the dice when it comes to even the class of '92. Fergie was an incredible gambler because he had the odds just enough in his favour. That's the whole bedrock of his kind of mentality. Even then, though, it was a gamble. And so it would be a gamble going into next season with Rashford our main striker, but it would be one that I would be, at very least, I'd be fascinated to see what happens.
Do you know what? I'm going to leave it as this is the final word because we've got to get on to the next load of topics. But the thing that's the most shocking about this and the most surprising and the most thing that you can say in praise of Marcus Rashford is at the start of the season, we didn't know if Jose Mourinho was going to put him in his squad. And now we're talking, is he going to put him as his number 9?
He's got that
That's
trust
the thing
now.
Marcus Rashford has done himself. No one else has done it for him. Marcus Rashford keeps putting himself in the spotlight, keeps putting himself in the position to get picked and keeps taking chances when they come his way. So hats off Marcus Rashford. I hope his development continues on the way it started because we've got a special player there. Next up, another special player, someone that's really took Manchester United to heart. Ander Herrera. Loads of people shouting for him to be captain. I don't think there's going to be much argument on this one. Can we just take a moment to consider how absolutely flawless his man-marking job on Eden Hazard, who looked phenomenal all season, was against Chelsea on Sunday? Do you think... Hang on, I got a question that I'm going to throw to you.
What?
Do you think Ander Herrera has shown what his use is going to be in a Jose Mourinho's side as being that destroyer? Or do you want to see Ander Herrera with a more free role, more box-to-box role? How do you see him being used against teams that don't have Eden Hazard?
Ander Herrera showed, People keep saying man-marking job, and it was a man-marking job. He did a fantastic job on Eden Hazard. But not only, what was amazing about his performance that day is that's not all he did. Because when Manchester United did not have the ball, he was sort of like an attacking midfielder. He was getting up in support. He set up the goal for Marcus Rashford with a sublime pass, and the weight on the ball was excellent. And he was involved in everything. So even though he was defensively on their main man, blocking him and all that, yeah, it was a lucky goal, but he deserved that luck that day. And it was a fantastic performance from Ander Herrera. I think he's showing, and he showed this in his interviews. He did a few interviews after the game as well. I think he's showing how important he's coming to this team, how much experience he's gaining, how much of a leader he's becoming, even without the armband. And performances like that can only help that influence on the team, because when you play like Ander Herrera does, you lead by example. When you're throwing yourself into challenges and you're being as disciplined as he is, and then you're barking out orders and you're leading, you're bringing your midfield back with you, and you challenge Jesse Lingard what to do, because that's what he was doing on the weekend. When he's doing all that, he gets so much influence on his side. And he did an interview with the Man United website where he said Jose said to him at the start of the season he was going to be a key player for him, but he does not want to sleep because he knows Man United can replace him at any given time. And that attitude is an attitude that every single player in our team should have. Nobody should be taking their place for granted in this side. And Ander Herrera does that. He gets this club. And not only that, he's a quality player as well. And he's showing signs this season, having given the minutes from Jose Mourinho, of the player that we thought he could be when we signed him from Bilbao. He's a top player, man. One of the best midfielders in the Prem.
I think he's totally different from the player that we saw. He was more of a number 10 at Bilbao. He's shown to be a lot more well-rounded than he was at Bilbao. I think the switch that we saw with Ander Herrera this season, just the difference in a 190-minute period, was the derby at home. In the first half, we was completely all over the place. We was lost. We brought Ander Herrera on to fill in at number 6 in the second half, and we was unlucky not to get something out of that game. Paul, Ander Herrera, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I disagree with Adam about there really is that that he's been showing it under Jose, because actually every really
I do agree.
Fundamentally every good performance we put in under Van Gaal had Ander Herrera at the heart of it, and generally as a more attacking midfielder, as you would expect, because Van Gaal didn't really play with the destroyer. But I mean, his performance against Chelsea is absolutely outstanding. I was thinking about this, and if you think about the kind of recent history, the two man marking jobs that stand out to me in United's recent history are Phil Jones on Marouane Fellaini, of all people, against Everton in the height of the period where Fellaini was bullying us out of the game every time we played them. What a weird world we live in. And also that was kind of a practice run. I'm really sure of this theory that Fergie did that on purpose to get Jones to practice for Cristiano Ronaldo, who was coming up a couple of games later, and then he stuck Phil Jones on Ronaldo. Gone.
Get you ready for Ronaldo by marking Fellaini.
Yeah, but I mean it was like tactical practice, And imagine that, and it was Phil Jones that was assigned to man mark Hazard at Stamford Bridge a few weeks ago. But Ander Herrera, I mean, he said on his BT Sport interview after the game, and you would do a load of interviews after a performance like that, wouldn't you? You'd want to be on like every telly channel, on every website talking about it. But he said, I wasn't just man marking. My job was, when we had the ball, to contribute. Goal and assist. Pretty incredible contribution. Phil Jones would not have got a goal and assist in that game, even though he might well have been able to do the job on Hazard to a decent level. Herrera's extraordinary, and that performance, he's not flawless. There have been bad games from Ander Herrera in his tenure at United, even this season, but when he's clearly learning a new trade right now, because you mentioned he played at number 10 at Bilbao. He also played deep at Bilbao. He also played on the right at Bilbao. He said in his post-match stuff that if Mourinho wanted him to play in goal, he's going to play in goal. He really has that kind of manager's dream attitude, and his ability to switch from that fully defensive mentality to really contributing to United's attacking play is the mark of the outstanding midfielders. They're the ones who are more than one player in one. And the potential of a Herrera-Pogba midfield two is as one of the best in the game. That's they're not there yet, but the potential, that's the level we're talking about. I don't think I'd swap Herrera for anyone in the Premier League.
No.
There's a couple of comments here that I'm going to come to.
Anyone in the world.
Harishkesh says Fosu and Pereira need game time next season as backup for Herrera and Pogba. That's not a bad shout. I would have liked to have seen Fosu Mensah used more. I think he really could do that number 6 Kante style role for Manchester United. It'd be interesting to see if Jose does at one point try Herrera, Fosu Mensah and Pogba. I think that'd be interesting to see. Blind on Lukaku says Jack, that was also a great man marking job. That was Everton last season. Let's beat Anderlecht.
That's a bit different though. That's a little bit tactically different. The Blint on Lukaku job, because I agree. Like he had Lukaku in his pocket. Yeah, exactly. So it's positionally matched up.
Herrera, Spanish finesse and Makalele-esque tackler. Marshall should learn from Herrera's commitment. I don't understand where Marshall gets this.
When was the last time we had an all-round midfield performance like that? Like all round. We haven't had many.
Paddy Carrera in 1971.
We've been crying out for a midfielder like this and like Paul Pogba for man. Do you remember when Fergie wouldn't sign a midfielder?
We signed loads of left backs though. Anyway, before we go to the teams, we're going to have a quick little ad break for some of you.
I love how we both.
Okay, I think we're back from the ad break now. Let's get into the teams. Before we get into the teams, let's look at the table. Some fraudulent guy is at 90 points, top of the table. Not sure how he's managed that when I'm getting deducted points left, right and centre. It's not on.
The scoring system in this game is broken.
It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? You think FIFA and UEFA are corrupt? You want to see the scoring system at Full-Time Devils? Unbelievable, Jeff. We'd be giving World Cups to Antarctica if we was in charge. Statman Dave's on 83. John Shin is on 79. Paul, you're on 59. I'm on 52. Rachel, she's only done 3 and she's on 34. See, that's just how madness that one is. Andy's on 25 and yada 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 all the way down to Harves and Greg Johnson propping it up with 4. How do you get 4 out of 11? That's an effort. I've got to say it's an effort.
I've got to defend
7 wrong.
I've got to defend Greg. He was
Greg.
So unlucky to come on before an FA Cup game for his one appearance of the season.
Right, Paul, I'm going to stay with you then. Give us your starting 11 for Anderlecht on Thursday.
Yeah, the first choice is almost the hardest, really. We talked about this a lot on our podcast, which will be out later this week. But
subscribe to Rankcast on iTunes and wherever else you can find it as well.
That was not deliberately a plug. It's just to sort of warn people who listen to both this conversation's happening. I've gone for Romero in the team here, but it would seem to me to be slightly bizarre if he does pick Romero. I just think that he's going to. But it seems like a really odd decision, given how fine the margins are, given how important it is. Why you wouldn't pick your absolute best team for this game is slightly beyond me. But he seems to be sticking with Romero in the Europa League, so I've gone for that to try and get the points. But it's not a decision that I would support. Valencia, Rocco, Bailly, I think that picks itself. This is almost like trying to will it into existence, but I think there is a real life chance he might play Luke Shaw in this game, because he has been back in the rotation a bit, and Darmian was good against Chelsea, but he was good in a kind of man-marking Pedro and never having to cross the halfway line sort of a way. I don't think you want him as a fullback in a more conventional formation. Herrera and Pogba, I think, pick themselves if we play a midfield 2. I guess there's a chance that Fellaini will play if it's a midfield 3, but he's not going to drop either of them. I don't know. I don't know what the front 4 are going to be. I'd be quite confident that Mkhitaryan and Ibrahimovic are both going to play. I've gone for Lingard and Rashford just because they were both really good against Chelsea, and so it seems reasonable that Mourinho might stick with them, but wouldn't be shocked by any possible combination really up there.
Mr. McCullough, do you want to give us your starting 11?
Very similar teams, particularly in terms of the back 5. We've got the same back 5: Romero, Valencia, Bailly, Rojo, and Luke Shaw. Same as Paul. I'm just kind of hoping it happens, and I'm happy to risk losing a point if it doesn't.
You don't need to worry about that, do you? You're just sitting pretty on the top.
Yeah,
you're like Chelsea. You can just come to Old Trafford and throw away points, no problem.
I can play the youngsters this week, and then Carrick, Pogba. Sorry. I'm not playing Carrick. I'm playing Fellaini instead of Carrick. I think we'll save Carrick for Burnley. Go Fellaini, Pogba, Herrera, Mickey, Zlatan, and Marshall. So I think he'll give Lingard and Rashford a rest because they did do an awful lot of running on Sunday. And I think it's just an easy way for him to take them out of the side and say, I'm giving them a rest because they worked hard on the weekend.
Lingard had the last half an hour off at the weekend, though, didn't he? Came off at 60 minutes.
But he did so much in those seasons.
He did.
Jesse Lingard, what a man.
Oh, he was so good, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was amazing. I love Jesse.
Right, have you finished?
We love Jesse here.
Sorry, just getting some Jesse Lingard positive vibes out in the world because there aren't.
Do you love Jesse, Steve?
Yeah, I do. It's gone quiet a bit, hasn't it? People talking about his contract and his dancing this week.
What about Ashley Young, Steve? How do you feel about him?
Anderlecht then in the next round or this round of the Europa League, which is my favourite competition.
Did you see the vlog?
What?
Did you see the vlog, Steve?
I saw the vlog from Anderlecht. Adam did a vlog from Anderlecht and failed to jib in as well. So go and check that out and see what Adam got up to in Anderlecht, in that Belgium. It's over there. So Anderlecht then, was you impressed with them in the first leg? How do you think this one's going to go? What do you know about them and who do we need to look out for that? Teodoric, or whatever he's called, the guy with the impossible pronouncing name, is back. The guy that scored 28 goals for him, he's back. What else do we know about him?
I said to Adam on Sunday on the fan cam actually, which you can see on Full Time Devils. It's near the Anderlecht vlog in the list anyway. That's that in the first half, Anderlecht looked like they thought they were playing Man United, the real Man United from the old days. And then at half time, their manager said, like, this is Man United 2017, right? And they kind of came out and played a bit, and they looked pretty good in that second half, and we looked really ropey. We looked really complacent and took our foot off the gas big time. Yuri Tillemans is a player that's obviously got a huge amount of hype around him. It seems like he's going to go to Monaco in the summer to replace one of their other teenagers who's got a ton of hype around them in the kind of ever-rotating hype of teenagers cycle. But Tillemans grew into that game a lot, and this will be a kind of big proving ground for him to see if he can bring an impact to bear. We're a better team than Anderlecht. It's pretty straightforward. If we play anything like our best, we should win. But we can't take them lightly because A, we often don't play anywhere like our best, and B, they've certainly got a number of serious threats.
And it's a quarter-final of the Cup, and anything can happen at this stage. Man, otherwise it'd be quite straightforward. We'd have a lot more trophies to our name. Adam, what do you reckon?
I'll be honest, man. I think they dragged us down to their level on Thursday. I don't think they're great. Obviously, Tillman's all right. Teodoric will be a threat. He's going to start, but we should be. If we don't beat these, we don't deserve Champions League football next season. If these were in our Champions League group, we'd say let's get 6 points off them. If these were in a Europa League group, we'd say let's get 6 points off them. We should be beating these. We shouldn't have drawn against them last Thursday. We did. It was complacency that cost us that. And if we're complacent on Thursday, it'll cost us a spot in the semi-finals, because if we play 70% of our best, we should be beating these lot, and I think we will.
I'm going to come to the comments real brief. There's one comment from David which says Amanjan, Herrera, Kante and Pogba. We did go for Kante.
We don't need Kante.
I'm not sure he would have stayed if we'd have. I'm not sure Herrera would have stuck around if we'd have got him, but you know what? I'm happy how it's turned out. Witness says Tielemans ain't that special. How about relax? How about he's pretty damn special, considering he's been I think he's got 150 games to his name. He's 19 years old or something like that. He's pretty special. He is the captain. And then the next comment, which is a really interesting one, if it's true, from Thomas Comment, said there was a Tottenham scout behind me for Tielemans in the homestand. That's interesting. We might be seeing Tielemans in the Premier League, if not at Monaco one day. So that's the comments. Let's go back to you guys for your score prediction. I'm going to come to you first, Paul. What do you reckon the score's going to be?
I feel like we are making it difficult for ourselves most of the time, although we didn't on Sunday. So I'm going to go for 2-1 that has everyone terrified, but then we make it in the end.
Oh my days. I can already feel squeaky bum time with that one. Adam, score?
3-0.
3-0. A couple of you guys, if you're quick, can get it in your comments as well what score you think it's going to be, and I'll read them out. I think it's going to be 2-0. I don't think it's going to be quite a squeaky bum time. I do think it's going to be a a comfortable victory for Manchester United. If you're watching this video after it's gone out live, then you can head over this way and you can get your vote in for the score prediction as well. There's a little eye over here in the corner so you guys can vote. And did we get any in time to throw it in? We've got 2-0 from Tolerant Keeper, 4-0 says Azam, 2-0 says Hrikesh, Safir says 4-0. Everybody pretty confident. Does anyone think that we're going to screw it up here at all? Are you pretty confident that we're going through, Adam?
Like I said, the only way we can mess this up is just by being absolute idiots, which we have been a few times at home this season, but we haven't been in the Europa League, which makes me feel a bit more confident of a comfortable home win.
Paul, do you think we're going to screw this up or do you think we're going to sail through?
I don't think we are going to ultimately... I mean, you know, I think we've got it in us to mess it up, definitely. That's clear. But, you know, we were unbeaten for a long time unless somehow it's a 2-2 draw, then or a 3-3 draw, then we'll be all right, hopefully.
Baby, don't worry.
Right, that is us. Thank you guys for watching. Go and give Paul a follow and go and check out his excellent podcast on iTunes and elsewhere. Give Adam a follow on Twitter if you're not already, and go and find me as well. And thank you for watching. Get your comments, your suggestions, your queries, your criticism, and any of your nonsense in the comments
Anderlecht vlog
below. And go and check out the Anderlecht vlog. And we'll see you on Thursday as hopefully Manchester United are going to book our place in the semi-final of everyone's favourite competition. See you later.